Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nikki Vo, and I'm your host. I'm a boat owner, a marinas owner, an international conference presenter, and a huge advocate for boating. I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous, it's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there enjoying the waterways. So, let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I am here with two gentlemen here in beautiful Dubai at Dubai Boat Show, and they're pretty well known around here, so this is going to be a good conversation. I am with John Paul, who is the General Manager of Exalto Emirates, and Wyndham Tops, Senior Director of Marina and Waterways at Red Sea Global. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi, Nikki. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much. That is John Paul's voice for our listeners. So, John Paul, tell me, when did your love of boating begin?
I was 8 years old, I think. I lived in Florida. We spent a few years there with my family at the time. And quite a spoiled young man, because I got a small Boston whaler with a 15 horsepower tiller outboard engine, and I went crazy. I was on the water every day fishing with friends. That's really where it started.
Brilliant. And what a way to start, a Boston whaler. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Small one though.
And from there, where did your boating progress?
So over the years, I was always a boater just for fun, for my leisure, going fishing, mostly in Florida. I ended up returning back to the Netherlands. I graduated there, and then I moved to Saudi Arabia. I spent 15 years in Saudi and in Kuwait, running a hydraulics company in Kuwait. And then in 2008, I was looking for my next activity. And one of my friends from Abu Dhabi said, well, the marine business in Dubai is booming, 2008, prior to Lehman Brothers and the whole mishap in the US.
Yeah.
And then I looked online, and I thought to look for who is the local distributor for a company called Vitus, and found them. I was in Dubai, went to take a look, and that's really how the whole thing started. And because I'd always been passionate about boating, I thought, my next activity, venture in the marine industry that looks like fun. Little did I know, but we'll get to that sooner, I'm sure.
Okay, we're going to pass over to Wyndham now. Wyndham, tell me, when did your boating or love of boating commence?
Good afternoon, Nikki, and everyone listening. So I was pretty much born into a sailing family. My father was a sailor. We had the oldest wooden yacht built in South Africa on a lagoon, the Knysna Lagoon, where I was born in South Africa. I sailed competitively right through school. I sailed for South Africa in a number of world championships as a junior entry, and when I was finishing school, my parents offered me a reward for a certain grade in my matric year to attend the Ocean Sailing Academy and complete my formal qualifications.
Wow.
So I did that course after school and just continued through with the Ocean Sailing Academy until I started as a junior instructor, up to a branch manager, and then eventually as the general manager of the Ocean Sailing Academy, which is now in the Victoria and Alfred waterfront in Cape Town. It's an RYA approved sailing school. During that time, I did a lot of yacht deliveries, multiple trips across to the Caribbean, a big delivery from Durban to Sydney in Australia, a few back from St. Martin in the Caribbean back to Cape Town. So I was working as a delivery skipper and taking the students from the sailing school that we were teaching and giving them the mileage that they needed to go from Yachtmaster Offshore to Yachtmaster Ocean, etc. So that led me till 2005 when I joined the Ferretti Group. and there was a Ferretti yacht, the first of its kind, being imported into South Africa. The first real luxury Italian motor yacht. And I'd only been involved in sailing boats up until then.
Yeah, you went over to the dark side.
My first powerboat, Stinkpot, and learned how to drive that, and we imported her, and she ran as a charter and as a sales vessel for what we established as an agency for Ferretti. And it was the first Ferretti dealership in Southern Africa, and I ran that for 5 years before moving to Dubai.
Amazing. So why did you move to Dubai?
I met a gentleman, an Emirati gentleman in Monaco at a yacht show, and he was looking at buying a sports fishing boat. The brand that we were selling at the time wasn't quite the right fit for him, and he appreciated the honesty that goes with this industry for the right type of vessel, for the right purpose, and for the right owner. And we kept in contact over the years, and he landed up settling on a Hatteras yacht.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was, then going to look between Hatteras and Viking, and I was consulting to him on this project, and landed up helping him to build the vessel, and then eventually went to take delivery of the vessel, moved it to Abu Dhabi, and then I moved with the boat. And I ran his fleet of yachts for 8 years, including this 24-meter, $10 million sports fishing boat.
Yeah.
It's still today in Abu Dhabi, and it's still running with a close friend of mine who's the captain.
Amazing. I love a Hatteras. They're amazing.
Beautiful boats.
Yeah, beautiful boats.
So I was working for him for 8 years and got married, had a child, was at sea a lot, looked for something a little bit more land-based. So I landed up getting the position as marina manager at the Emirates Palace Marina, which is where the vessel was actually based, and a lot of our fleet was based. I did 6 years as the general manager of Emirates Palace Marina, and then worked into the head of leisure, director of leisure. So I looked after the beach club, the sports and recreation. We had a FIFA football pitch, a 1.3 kilometer beach, swimming pools, and the marina. So that position I grew into as far as I could. And then I was approached by Abu Dhabi Maritime to go onto the federal side. So I joined what is the regulator, and was the last few years in the UAE with Abu Dhabi Maritime. And that was great. We were running a portfolio of 29 marinas and slipway facilities. And we took these government facilities and implemented, some concierge services. So tractors to launch the vessels, boat washing, engine flushing, security across the marinas, facilities, dock hands, across all of their marinas. And that eventually led to a call from Saudi for the Red Sea project, and I'm now working for Red Sea Global as the head of marinas and waterways. We are building a portfolio of marinas up and down the Red Sea, and we have 2 big marinas opening this year.
We're going to get into that. That will be good. Yeah, but back to John Paul, because it feels like Wyndham hogged it there a bit, didn't he?
Sorry.
We need more exploration on your career now.
I was thinking to myself, I really summarized it very short, and Wyndham is expanding a bit more. I might have to add a bit more background.
I think you do.
And actually, Wyndham and I met when he was working at Emirates Palace Marina. That's where our
so that's where your
started.
friendship and relationship comes from. Okay, love it.
So when I showed up in the UAE, that was 2009, I took over a very small marine equipment distribution company called Exalta Emirates, and I'm still with them, of course. And at the time, we had 12 employees, we had 18 brands and about 2,000 products in the company.
When you say you took over, did you purchase that brand or you did? Okay,
yeah. And it was originally a company from the Netherlands that moved here in 1994. So we celebrated our 30th year anniversary last year. It was a great party and event. So I took that over in 2009 and started building. I've always been very focused on the customer, on building relationships, on the sales side and the support side. So there was really a lot of focus within the company on that. Fast forward now 15 years, we are currently 103 employees in the company.
Wow.
We distribute for 140 brands. 19,000 SKUs. We are a marine...
19,000?
19,000.
Oh my goodness.
And we are a wholesaler of marine equipment, electrical, mechanical, and electronic across the GCC, West Africa, East Africa, Indian subcontinent. We work in the Seychelles and the Maldives, and some of the other Middle Eastern countries. Had an amazing time over the years. We grew a lot, both in terms of revenue, but also of brand recognition, exposure, relevance in the market. Wyndham, of course, was a customer in those days, and we're still in touch since then. And it's been an amazing journey with a wonderful team that we have in the company. I also met my wife here in Dubai about 3 months after I actually moved from Kuwait to Dubai. And we started our family here. We have now 2 daughters of 9 and 10 years old.
Oh.
And Dubai is my home. I love living here. Great respect for the leadership and the government. And it's a wonderful place to be.
It's very positive here, isn't it? Yeah. And so obviously that Netherlands connection was very useful at that time because presumably, are you still connected with the Netherlands or is it just in Dubai now?
No, so the company from the Netherlands was sold in 2006 to my predecessor, and I took it over, as I said, in 2009.
Yeah.
I mentioned the name Vitus. Vitus is a company that was founded in the early 60s, 1964, and is a manufacturer of marine equipment for the leisure, European leisure marine industry at the time. And my father was one of the founders of that company. And he exited in the late 70s, became chairman, and was chairman until 1983. But I have obviously a past with Vitus.
Yes.
And that's why I went looking for who was the Vitus distributor here, because that was probably the only marine company that I could remember at the time. So the connection with the Netherlands is now that we have about 8 or 9 brands that we work with from the Netherlands. I obviously still visit there a lot, but we do not do business within the Netherlands.
Yeah.
We are really a regional distributor.
Yeah, and presumably your parts come from all over the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have probably about 40, 50 manufacturers from Europe. We have a whole bunch from the United States, from Canada, a lot of manufacturers from New Zealand, some from Australia. That's about where it comes from, yeah.
Yeah. So you're European. Do you speak Dutch?
Yeah, no, my mother tongue is Dutch, obviously. When I moved to the US when it was 1977, I learned to speak English, went to school there, of course.
Yeah.
So English has always been my second language.
But you've got the advantage of the Dutch, obviously, when you need it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And how have you found, 2009, you opened it here. You've grown exponentially in that period of time. Why and how do you think that has happened for you? Is it simply because the growth of the business in this region, or is it because you have taken other market segments, or how has that growth happened so greatly?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Thank you very much for asking that. In 2009, the company was not only small, but was also perhaps not as organized as it could be in terms of processes, working with customers, performing service for our customers. And I came previously from a company that was well organized, so I took over that sense of responsibility. I worked a lot on reorganizing the company, making it more responsible towards the customer. And we've been working very hard at it since then. I've hired amazing people within the company, and we've built a fantastic team. It's obviously not something that I've done alone, but have done with the entire group of, we call it the Exalto family, but that's really what the feeling is like. And we've always focused really on boat builders. I looked initially at how can we grow the business within the company, and I realized if you have a 30-foot boat, it's a 30-foot boat. It's not magically a 40-foot boat. So I thought the only way we can grow our business is to get more products on that same boat. Now, we had some amazing brands. We worked with Mastervolt and Vitus and Webasto and Jabsco, but we were quite limited in what we could offer to the boat builders. So I went in 2010, 11, really shopping around the world, going to the METS exhibition, of course, in Holland, very famous in our industry.
Of course.
And looking really for brands, for product that fitted within our scope of supply. As I mentioned, mechanical, electrical, that was really our focus. So 2011, 12, 13, I was building that. I would go to the exhibition, with my business card, and nobody knew me, and I had to sell who we were within the industry globally, and that went quite well. So we expanded our range over the years, And we became quite organized in how we do things internally. And I think, maybe you mentioned the Netherlands, maybe the Dutch touch, of being hardworking and being responsible, logical thinking. Those things probably helped me in building the business into what it is today.
Absolutely. So while we're on the subject of growth, let's talk about what you're doing, Wyndham, because what you are doing is growing into a completely different region that none of us are yet to experience, or we can now. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has really opened its borders, and tourism is a big drive at the moment to Saudi. The amount of investment into infrastructure, it's incredible what is getting built there. And we've shared some pictures of what we are building, and you've seen really how iconic and unique these resorts are. I'm working with Red Sea Global right now. Red Sea Global is a piece of coastline, everything from Neom down towards Jeddah, that whole area. And we have the Red Sea development that's opened up right now with 5 hotels, resorts that are already open. 3 of them on the water. And I look after the 2 marinas that are under construction, but also waterways, which is really the development of that whole ecosystem. We are mapping charts. We are putting in aids to navigation, so the navigational marks. We're going out and plotting routes for vessels to islands to be able to explore, to get to the resorts and back and deliver the guests there safely through navigable channels with a variety of the fleet. We transport the guests offshore either via a beautiful enclosed speedboat or a yacht, or a seaplane or a helicopter, as your preference. And these boats need to run 24/7, so we need to have safe navigable waterways to get to the resorts. So that's the big challenge at the moment from the waterway side. And then from the marinas, as I mentioned, we have 2 marinas delivering this year, in September and in November. In the most northern is a Marla Marina and Yacht Club. It will be our 120 berths for vessels up to 120 meters. Its focus is mostly on transient yachting, with our berths ranging from 40 to 120 meters as being our primary matrix. Has a beautiful yacht club, which will be managed in partnership with Yacht Club de Monaco. We have the Corallium, which is a marine life institute that is built on the marina. It's an incredible facility. The quay wall has a very unique hideout cut into it, which houses the submarine that will be exiting and entering through our marina entrance, and it will be used for scientific research and touristic trips up and down the Red Sea coast.
Amazing.
So some really, really, really amazing facilities.
And I understand because I had a chat with Zandra yesterday.
Yes.
I understand you're restricting the number of people that can go to a Marla at any one year.
That's correct. So Red Sea Global, and really what Saudi is doing is building on sustainability and environmental protection. It's one of our foundations and core pillars. So by 2030, we will be offering a 30% net conservation benefit to the ecosystem, and limiting the number of people that access these facilities is one way of controlling that environmental impact. So everything is assessed, everything is studied, everything is environmentally concerned, is well planned, studied, researched, and then developed. For instance, a solar farm, one of the largest solar farms in the region, is built 5 years before our marina is opened. Yet our marina and this whole resort will be fully solar powered by the solar farm. So the investment was there. The research into the ecosystem in terms of coral that needed to be relocated to build a marina entrance. That coral is each piece asset tagged and relocated to a coral nursery. Wow. Where the coral is monitored and allowed to grow. And once the marina entrance is completed being dredged, the coral will be relocated back as close to its natural habitat as possible. So, these are just some of the topics of discussion and projects that we are working on right now.
Do you have a new release of product or a new boat that you'd like us to review at a boat show? Get in touch at info@theboatprincess.com, and our team will be very happy to chat with you about that. So while we're on environmental, John Paul, This is quite an interesting interview. I'm having to segue back and forth because you're completely different operators on completely different businesses.
Yes, quite, yeah.
So, presumably, your product base has expanded quite recently with new technologies and environmental initiatives, I'm guessing.
A very favorite topic of mine. I want to really say something about Wyndham, at least what you're doing. I was not aware about all your activities with building up new coral reefs. It's fascinating. And I've been meaning to visit their project. I haven't done yet, so let's hope we can plan that maybe still before the summer. Yeah, no, there's a huge focus on that. We have a core value within our company, which is called We Learn. And that includes learning about new technologies, innovation around the world. Obviously, there's been enormous drive around the world when it comes to sustainable technologies and trying to implement that, obviously, for the marine industry as well. We became the distributor of Torqeedo, was really the first successful manufacturer of out-of-the-box electric propulsion systems around the world. That's where our journey started. We now distribute for 7 other electric propulsion brands, but we also do hydrogen fuel cells for power generation. We have products for filtering discharge out of your bilge system to remove the contaminants. We work with sewage treatment plants. We have environmentally friendly cleaning materials that supposedly you can drink, actually. I've not tried it yet, but perhaps I should put my money where my mouth is one time and do try that. But it's an enormous focus of our company. Now, we do that for commercial reasons. Obviously, I admit that as well. However, we have to take care of the planet where we live. It's also maybe a little segue into the LMA, and I'm sure we're going to talk about the Leisure Marine Association at some point.
We certainly are.
And it's on our agenda as well. So we work closely with Abu Dhabi Maritime, we work closely with Dubai Maritime Authority, and we inherit this planet and we have to give it to our children and our grandchildren. So I also have a personal interest in it. In fact, yesterday as the LMA we were hosting coffee talks, and we had the global president of ICOMIA and the global CEO of ICOMIA, Darren and Joe.
I know them quite well.
Yeah, I had the honor. I you know them quite well, being Australian.
I sleep with the president.
Course. Oh, is your husband?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I had no idea.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah.
So I had the honor of moderating the discussion about decarbonization of the industry. And ICOMIA has commissioned a report that was published last year. Super interesting. And, we had a very nice conversation yesterday about how the government is involved, how boat owners can also drive demand towards sustainability within the industry, what are limitations that we still face on power generation. But, the future is extremely, extremely exciting.
Yeah,
so, yes.
Absolutely. So on that, and we will get back to the LMA because I really wanted to know about that as well. But you're obviously building marinas as we speak. So Wyndham, what things are you building into those marinas to accommodate that new environmental piece and therefore speaking to that?
Another good question, and the technology is not there yet for marinas, and I found this out firsthand when trying to build 2 marinas that are the top tech available. We have electrical pedestal suppliers that are working diligently to find out what technology we can incorporate into those electric pedestals. It's not just an electric pedestal that gives you water and gives you electricity, and those utilities are metered, and that meter is sent to our marina management software, and we can see what utilities the vessel is using. But much more than that, there's technologies for sensing carbon in the water. If an exhaust is smoking,
Wow.
if a boat has pumped out bilge water, any sewage water that landed up black water into your marina, there is sensing technology that can see if somebody's fallen into the water. So if they've fallen off their vessel or fallen off the pontoon, there's a sensor that's measuring the frequency of the waves, and there's an unbalance to that frequency. So this technology is coming. However, it's not there yet. There is no supplier that can give you the full tech that is available because they're individual companies and individual entities that are supplying this technology to marinas.
Oh my
So we're
goodness.
building a marina with the most advanced technology possible, but we're having to go to multiple suppliers to be able to get that incorporated into our marina management software.
Yeah.
So this is one area that we're looking at. Of course, the PV plants that have been built that are powering both of our marinas will be fully solar powered, and that's unique in itself. And that's all of the resorts across Red Sea Global. Otherwise, we're looking at from our sustainability practices and policies, the management of the marina, how we can manage it most efficiently, how we use the resources that we have most efficiently, and how we make sure that every berth holder, every visitor understands that that is our benchmark, that is our foundation, and that's our core strength of our marina operation.
Yeah, this is so exciting because one would hope that these initiatives that you're bringing into this space will filter down to other marinas across the world because of what you're doing, which would be amazing.
And because of the questions that we asking. As John mentioned, I went to METS this year to go and look at what technology is out there, and then talking to these suppliers and saying, this is a great product. It's a great piece of technology, but it doesn't fit yet into what is the marina management market. And how can we work together to incorporate that it works with our management software, that it works with the vessels. There's certain companies that are doing this independently, but we really need something that's available to the market.
Yeah. It's interesting, Matt's Trade, that it does do that. It does allow you to see what's available and what's not available.
Yeah.
Darren and my eldest son, Tommy, actually went round Matt's Trade when he was a mere 17, I think. He just graduated from school and didn't do the Aussie schoolies thing. Darren was going to Europe, so he said, well, do you want to come with me instead? So he did, and he went to Matt's Trade. And they walked around Matt's Trade and discovered that there was nothing that taught you how to drive a boat, especially a twin-engine boat, before you got onto the boat. So Darren turned around to Tommy and said, do you think you could do that, mate? And he said, yeah, I can have a go at that. And he created the Boatmaster app, which is the one that teaches everybody how to drive a boat before you go onto a boat. So I think Matt's Trade is really good for that, for finding what's available, but also recognising what's not available, because so many people go to it, don't they? So, yeah, it's a really good one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think John would know a lot about Mets being Dutch and,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been to many a Mets trade in your career.
How many have you done, Jean-Paul?
I've been to 15 since I took over the company in 2009. It's my favorite shopping supermarket. I mean, it has all the goodies there, and we always look around. This year or last year, November, we went actually with 7 people from our office. It was the biggest delegation we've ever had. And we first of all say hi to all our suppliers, our friends in the industry, but we look for new products and new innovation, new technology. That's really one of the main reasons why we go there.
So good.
I wanted to say to Wyndham, ultimately I'm still a business guy, of course. Your oily water discharge, come talk to me about Wavestream. We have filters that are going to fix that right up, Wyndham.
Amazing.
See? Solved in the room. Okay, guys, tell me about the LMA. I know that's really important to you, Jean-Paul, and to Wyndham. So tell me what that is. You actually one of the founders in 2020. What that is and why that is.
Yeah. So the discussion started back in 2009, 2010. There were a few of us in the industry that really felt we needed to incorporate, get together, to be able to have a voice for the industry. There were no associations at the time, and we were all a collection of individual companies. It took really 10 years until finally in 2019 we were allowed by the Dubai government under the Chamber of Commerce. They had established a new authority called the Dubai Association Center, and now they officially recognized associations. And that's where we had our break. Before that, we've tried multiple variations working together with some of the government authorities, but we never had the consistency of any type of gathering or organization. So we were incorporated in October of 2020. We established a board, the same founders that were our connections in the industry. And I remember very well, we had one of the first meetings with Her Excellency Hesse Al Malik. So she's special advisor to the Minister for the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure. And she said to me, John, I'm very happy that you are now an official association because we can finally talk to you. And we could not talk to companies before. We needed to have this kind of body. And that's where our journey started. In 2021, we organized the ICOMIA Marina Conference, which was a bit of a challenge, just coming out of COVID, of course. But it was an amazing success, and I think everybody from ICOMIA and all the global visitors really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we sadly missed that one. We were locked down, so we didn't get to come.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So we've grown now to 95 members, all the well-known, recognized professional companies within the industry, whether you're a marina operator or you are a boat builder or a services company or a marine equipment distributor like us. You really become a member, and we're working now very hard on expanding also across the GCC. It's one of our KPIs that we want to set by this year and next year. We want to set up some sister associations within the region.
Just explain GCC to the listeners in case they don't know what it is.
The Gulf Cooperation Council, which is the collection of the Gulf states that we have here. So LMA really is ultimately about growing the industry. We want to have a bigger pie. We want to have more boat owners on the water, because more boats on the water means more boats being built, more engines being supplied, more boats being serviced, more marinas being built, more equipment supplies being done. And it contributes to the local UAE and also the GCC economies. So it's really an important part. We employ thousands of people across the region. So growing that industry is what we want to do. How do we do that? First of all, by really making sure that the boat owners or potential boat owners have an enjoyable experience. We want to make boat ownership easy for them. We want to remove any blockages there might be when it comes to buying a new boat or registering your boat or renewing your licenses. So we work with the authorities to make it easier. We also want to give the boat owners a nice actual boating experience. When they go out on the water, you spend a lot of money on that. You want to have fun, you want to enjoy it. So we work with the semi-government companies, the larger real estate companies here, to open up areas for boating, whether it's at anchorage or islands, make them available. Or we had a great success about a year and a half ago, whereby we spoke to all the marinas across the UAE, and we agreed that they would open up their marinas to boaters as long as they use the hospitality, the F&B options, that they would have free anchorage for 4 hours, because we want people to go and explore and look at new areas.
That's a nice touch.
In Abu Dhabi, you have beautiful islands, you have the mangroves. When you go to Ras Al Khaimah, you get close to Oman, you have the beautiful forts, Al Quwaim, Ajman, they have beautiful mangroves. Here in Dubai, we have the islands, we have amazing F&B, and we just need to make it available. So we're trying to create this wonderful experience for the boat owners.
Do you have an event that you would like the Boat Princess team to attend and promote? Get in touch with our team at info@theboatprincess.com. and let's see what we can do together. Because that's often an issue, that destination boating, isn't it? We can all go out into a bay and pick up a mooring or throw an anchor and hang. But it's really nice to have destinations to go to and enjoy different experiences. And sometimes you can only get there by water. So the islands are an obvious example of that. So that's a beautiful idea. I love it. Yeah, well done. And Wyndham, you're opening up a destination that is completely different, as I understand it, to many of us have experienced to date. Tell us a little bit about the Red Sea.
Yeah, so I think, touching on the islands in Abu Dhabi, and I think that's a perfect example, what the UAE has done in a pretty immature marine market, yet they've built a destination. You can take your yacht from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. You could go for lunch at a hotel. You could go out to an anchorage, in a very private anchorage There's more islands in Abu Dhabi than days in the year. These are now opening. They were previously private islands, and they're now opening to have public access to these. Sobanias Island has a resort on. It has game drives you can do. It has diving. It has kayaking and paddleboarding. And you can now take your yacht and pick up a mooring buoy or go to anchor off Sobanias Island. It's one of the islands they've opened. But back to your question on the Red Sea, it needs that destination. A yacht's not going to come for one marina. It's not going to come to have one anchorage. It's not going to come for one resort. It needs the whole coastline to be developed, which is exactly what the kingdom is doing. From Neom up in the north, which I'm sure everybody has heard of, right the way through Red Sea Global, down to Jeddah, which has a Formula One. So there's an iconic event. There's an iconic hotel to anchor at. There's, diving, exploring. There's islands in the Red Sea that have not seen a footprint. And literally it's not been open for any vessel to go there. The Red Sea was always considered a freeway. From the Suez Canal, you were heading straight through and going towards the Maldives, going middle or far east. And now with these opportunities to be able to have moorings, have marinas, have anchorages, and have full concierge services across this whole length of coastline makes it a unique destination and perfectly located for the vessels that are going south from the Med.
Well, that presumably means previously then, supposedly, it was only open to large displacement vessels because you had to go from one point to another point with no points in between to refuel or
that's
resupply
correct.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
So presumably it's opening it up to a whole bunch of new market.
Yeah, so traditionally the yachts coming through were 40 meters and plus, and anything less was probably put on a ship and sent through. And now that availability, from the Mediterranean just through the Suez, it's a short and easy trip. We are working closely with the Suez Canal authorities to streamline the process for coming through, to make it quicker and easier, with dedicated slots for white boats or for yachts to be able to transit the Suez Canal. And as soon as you're through Suez, you have availability right now of Sandala Marina. We will have 2 marinas close by in Al Numan Island and Amala Marina, and then down to Shura Marina, down to Jeddah. You have multiple opportunities to stop. These facilities will all have customs and immigration clearance points of entry and exit in and out of the country, refueling, provisioning, and beautiful destinations along that coastline.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
touching
good.
back to the Leisure Marine Association, and I'm currently on the board and have been for a few years. I was previously wearing 2 hats as I was with Abu Dhabi Maritime. That was kind of the government entity that we were speaking to. But again, a lot of partnership with Abu Dhabi Maritime to further the federal regulations regarding yachting in the region. Similarly, into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is getting members on board onto the LMA, using the LMA as the benchmark and that network connection to be able to allow us to catch up and expand quickly in all aspects of our marine destination, because our membership is made up of a broad spectrum across the marine industry, and we are now able as an LMA member to be able to tap into that resource and use it to be able to develop our product in Saudi.
And how does that actually help those members? How do you think that? I mean, most associations, it's a connection and it's a person to talk to about how do I fix this. Tell me exactly how LMA actually helps those members.
It's exactly that. It's getting members on board from our neighboring countries, and we have members now from Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, Saudi, Qatar.
Wow,
And
so you're really linking the region together.
It is the Leisure Marine Association of the Middle East and North Africa, MENA.
Yeah.
And that's the region that we cover. And this is why this expansion is so important. And it allows the members then, access into these other economies and into these other different business streams that will then allow us to further that in the country of the membership.
John Paul, I'm assuming your association is very similar to many others in that the board is a volunteer scenario. Do you have a team in the LMA as well, or is it just a board of volunteers?
So, we have 10 board members. The board members take a responsibility also in a subcommittee. So we have subcommittee for super yachts, we have subcommittee for marinas, across the various areas of the industry. Then we have our members that sit with the board member on the subcommittee, and they drive a certain agenda point that we have. So they really make things happen. We also have a full-time manager of the association, a wonderful lady called Charlene. And, she's really a lifesaver and takes care of all the daily contacts and the operational things that we do. But absolutely, it is a 4-member, by-member organization. We can't just have the board driving it. We're always looking for other members to be super active and be involved, help organize events, be part of the committees, because it's a goal that we all share, of course, growing that industry. I would like to add a little thing to what Wyndham was saying, because the GCC countries were obviously working hard to get them all on board together, not only get members there, but also work on a government level. And what unites all of us as well are the super yachts that Wyndham was referring to that come out of the Suez Canal and go to the wonderful destinations in Saudi Arabia. But we really want them, to go to Oman. Oman is a beautiful destination. The backdrop is gorgeous. The people are super friendly. And then we want them to go around the strait, come into Dubai, spend time here, maybe look at having maintenance done on the boats, enjoy the wonderful scenery. I'm looking at the skyline of Dubai now, and obviously that's incredibly
that's amazing.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Spend time in Abu Dhabi on the Formula One, amazing events happening in Abu Dhabi, and then beyond go to the northern GCC states, drop by Qatar and Bahrain, and perhaps even go as far as Kuwait. Before they maybe head out again and continue the route towards the Maldives or Australia or the French Polynesia area. Now, what we need to do to achieve that is really make it clear to the super yacht owners, to the captains around the world, that there is a destination to be visited here. We talk about the great Arabian super yacht route, and that is what we're trying to promote. Obviously, visiting super yachts contribute to the economy. We've had great growth here. I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, we had up to 70 super yachts. But I think now we are close to 180 super yachts visiting the Gulf. And, we've already seen that success. And we want to keep pushing that agenda as well.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, Quality Marine Clothing, for the amazing clothing they do for us, all logoed for the Boat Princess. We love that. They, of course, are the place to go to for uniforms for your super yacht crew, your marina crew, or, frankly, anybody that's got a company that needs uniforms. Quality Marine Clothing is the place to be. That's amazing. That's a really good growth pattern. How wonderful. But as you say, the world potentially doesn't know how open it is, how available it is for people to visit. So how are you getting, especially for Red Sea, how is that message being put across to the world out there of boat owners, yacht owners, captains, so on and so forth? What's your method for that?
I'll start a little bit. So from the LMA side, we work closely with a number of events, and one of them being the Gulf Super Yacht Summit, which has almost trademarked itself now within the UAE, and this will move across the Gulf. It's already been in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi, and we have around 300 delegates that have attended this. A lot of them yacht captains, some yacht owners themselves have been present. And it's all about the new regulations, what's the new laws on charter, who are the new agencies, doing clearance and provisioning, where can I get maintenance done in shipyards. And these are the type of events that we use to really boost what's happening in the region. We also travel to the Monaco Yacht Show. The Department of Culture and Tourism have had a stand since 2019. It was initially an Abu Dhabi-based stand, but they've realized that it's very important to be the Emirates. And the Emirates now have a stand within Monaco, and that's been a huge driver for yacht captains and owners to come and visit, talk about the region, talk about the destination. KSA is just opening. We're still building our marinas. It's interesting that we've had 24 super yachts visit in the first 2 months of this year, and we are almost a year away from opening our first marina. Yet we saw the potential business passing by. We reach out to these yacht agents and to the yacht captains that we know personally. We invite them, we welcome them, and we offer them the best service, concierge services that we can without having a dedicated marina. But we have mooring buoys going in right now. However, we have also dived and allocated a certain area as an anchorage. So when each yacht comes, we put a diver down, make sure there's no coral getting disturbed, and we put an anchor in the certain location. Until right now, we have our mooring buoys going in. So we've opened this destination, and we have yachts at anchor. We're providing them full services, provisioning, basic maintenance that we can do on board, all of their garbage services, anything that they need to run the yacht. At the same time, we have an international airport that's just 15 minutes from the coastline, where we have a beautiful beach club that we use as the landside dock, and the yachts are anchored 20 to 30 minutes tender ride offshore. So we facilitate the whole guest journey, getting the guests onto the vessel, they have exploring the coast, and then facilitate them for charter or for their principal use. And the captains talk across the industry, and
That's
we've had a number of inquiries from captains who have said, I saw the social media, from a famous 125 meter that was anchored with us for some time, and they had a helicopter land on board with the principal, and that video went viral. So, media companies like Super Yacht Times pick that up and share it around, and next thing we're getting a number of calls saying, wow, we didn't know that this destination was open. And we're saying, yeah, we're not 100% yet for yachts, but we're accepting vessels and we're doing what we can, and soon we have these marinas launching, which is super exciting this year. So this is how the destination builds, this is how the marketing is out there. But to your point, we at the boat shows, we here at the Dubai International Boat Show, we're talking about what's happening in KSA, the available opportunities there right now. We'll be in Monaco, marketing the destination, and as we open more of our marinas, we have a number of events coming through them. One which has been announced in the press is the final of the ocean race, where the IMOCA 60s will be coming through the Suez Canal, and we'll be having a Red Sea sprint into Amala Marina, which is going to be the final of the ocean race in 2027, and that's going to be a signature event for us that we're building towards.
Amazing. So great things happening. And so if somebody that's listening to this podcast wants to find out more about Red Sea, how would they do that right now?
Can visit our Visit Red Sea website. We have our resorts all available on the website for you to be able to have a look at, browse through, lots of pictures, and book. If you Google anything that is Red Sea Global, you'll see what is under development under the Red Sea Global banner. Feel free to reach out to me personally. I'm available on LinkedIn or online, and I'm replying back to anybody who's interested to visit our destination.
Amazing. We'll put some of those links in the notes for the podcast as well, because you've been on the Boat Princess podcast now, so it's going to be all over the place.
Amazing. Thank you.
And John Paul, what about your company? How do they get in touch with you and connect with you?
Let me first talk about the LMA. Our website is leisureMarineMENA.com, and we're always looking for good quality new members. So please visit our website and sign up, not only for marine companies that are in the UAE at the moment, but specifically across the GCC area. My company is called Exalto Emirates. Our website is Exalto, EXALTO-Emirates.com. Emirates is easy to remember, of course, and we're happy to help our current customers and future customers as well.
Guys, thank you so much for talking to me today. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you wanted to leave with the listeners?
Well, I mean, being here with the one and only Boat Princess, that is already a great experience. So, Nikki, great to see you. I hope you're going to have a wonderful time here at the boat show. We have another day and a half to go, and it's just such a wonderful environment.
It's a great show. Yeah, it's got a great vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, from my side, thank you very much for hosting us, and I look forward to welcoming you in the Red Sea.
I look forward to being there, I assure you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, and we shall see you on the water soon. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate your ears. If you'd like to connect with us, you can do so by following us on Instagram at The Boat Princess. That gives you some more insight visually as to what we've been up to and what we have coming up in the future. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Nikki Vo, the Boat Princess. And of course, a lovely way to connect with us and stay connected with us is to sponsor the podcast, sponsor our events, or just get involved with a collaboration with us in a way that we can both support each other to allow others to rise in the industry or be educated in the industry, or just feel comfortable about being in the industry and being supported. So I really look forward to collaborating with any businesses out there that would like to associate their brand with ours. And of course, a simple sponsorship is to place ads on the podcast or sponsor our events, because of course we do some amazing events throughout the year and they will increase as time goes on and sponsorship increases. Networking within the industry is of course incredibly important, and especially for women, because one, we like to support them, and two, because every now and then having a female dominated event is a nice thing to have. So we really appreciate the sponsorship of those events. You guys, I really appreciate you listening to the podcast. I thank you so much for doing so. I would love it if you could review the podcast, and that will extend our reach. And until the next episode, I'll see you on the water soon.